I love going outside when I'm stressed out, and I just go sit on my porch, and I just spin. And it's like the world kind of goes away, and everything's a little bit peaceful. And then I drop it and remember gravity exists.
I'm in Chicago for the H&H conference, which we're gonna do tomorrow. Yay. But in the meantime, I had to visit YouTuber friends who live nearby, and that would be the lovely Evie here. If you don't know who Evie is, shame on you. She's specializes, you do it all, but I would say you specialize in spinning and weaving, mostly spinning, a little bit of weaving, but you're also knitting, crocheting, sewing. She does it all, and she also is very knowledgeable about like the history of what she does. So check out her channel if you've never seen her before, but today she's gonna try to teach me a totally new craft in like as little time as possible, because, you know, we have a conference starting tomorrow.
We're on a deadline.
On a deadline. It's really fun for me to be like, how quickly can you just learn a new craft? How fast can you get the basics of something? So I did this with my lovely friend Shannon. She taught me how to knit very quickly, and now Evie is going to teach me how to spin in however much time it takes, which will be under 3 hours.
Yep.
Tell me about spinning.
I love spinning. I'm a nerd for all of it. I'm a nerd for the history stuff.
As you can tell by all the lovely surroundings. The background of your videos is always amazing to me because you have so many little things all over the place. There's also, like, she said 20 spinning wheels in this house, which is fabulous.
There's like 2 more in the living room. There's one in the kitchen that's just up above the cabinets because it's never gonna work again. It's an antique and it's rickety. I've got a bunch in the basement. I have an e-spinner in the cabinet. I have a lot of wheels.
You said one in the kitchen and my brain went straight to Cracker Barrel. It's like your own personal Cracker Barrel with stuff hanging from the ceiling.
But I love I Spies, and I just wanted to live in one.
Right. All right, I have an initial question.
Okay.
How many different methods, shall we say, are there for spinning?
That's an excellent question. So I like to say that there's no wrong way to spin if you're getting yarn. Really, the only wrong way is if you're fighting against physics. Because like gravity exists, friction exists. There are some things you can't do anything about. But in terms of technique, there's as many as there has been cultures throughout history. So there's a lot of different ways to spin.
So is it one of those things where like everybody sort of independently developed their own style, and when you look at them overall, they're all kind of similar and the same?
Yes, because physics is the same. It's kind of widely theorized that spinning sort of developed independently in different areas in different ways. Because, I mean, you'll get it, like, you're gonna put twist into the fibers because that's what makes them strong.
Yeah.
And then you have to put it somewhere while you continue twisting more fibers.
So everyone came to the same conclusion.
Much it. That's
well, this is something that I've recently been thinking about a lot with embroidery, because I've been going through some different like styles from specific cultures and everything. And so many different cultures came up with basically the same exact style of embroidery, and just maybe they have motifs that are specific to them, or like there's little specificities, but it's like they all independently came up with their own thing because human beings all have logic, and we all tend to apply that logic in the same way. But how many different, like, ways? Because I know we're gonna try drop spindle, and then you have wheel.
Yes.
But, like, how many different ways? Is there anything beyond that?
Yes, there are some oddball kind of different ways. There's a lot of different styles of spindles. There's one called a Mayan spinner that is a little bit contested and debated whether or not it was actually for yarn or possibly twine or rope. There's drop spindles. There's supported spindles. So the one that we're gonna do is gonna just kind of be fully suspended, swinging around in the air. And then there are some where it would be, the base of it would be supported on something, like the ground or your leg or a dish on a table or something like that. And so that would be supported. So there are different kinds of ways of drop spindle.
So there's like drop spindle and subcategories.
Yes,
and then, like,
absolutely.
Wheel and subcategories.
Absolutely.
But it's kind of just spindle and wheel.
And e-spinner.
The E is on the beginning, so I'm assuming that's a recent addition.
You know, it is, But also, they're older than a lot of us think.
Oh.
I have one that's like from the 1950s. That's an e-spinner. It's got one of those like cloth-covered old style plugs.
Nice.
It's wild. All right, well, let's get you
do
some
it.
fiber and let's do this.
This is beautiful. I've already seen it. Let me pretend like I've never seen it before. She got me this beautiful purple stuff. I'm gonna do a close-up. I love the color variation in it.
The streaks are silk.
Ooh.
And the like more solid kind of fuzzy is wool.
Oh, fascinating. Okay, see, I always say that I don't like the texture of wool, but this is very soft.
So the dyer is...
Alexandra, the art of yarn.
I have 2 sizes.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, the smaller ones are gonna go faster.
Okay.
That gives you more twist in a shorter amount of time, which means you're gonna have thinner yarn.
Okay.
Usually beginners prefer to start with something that's a little heavier because it doesn't spin as fast. So it's a little slower in the process,
Get into it.
but you will get thicker yarn.
Okay.
So let's start you off with this one.
Sounds good.
And then if you don't like how thick it is, we can bump you down. So what we're gonna do to start with is figure out the fiber situation.
Mm-hmm.
I say fiber because it's not just wool, it's also silk, it can be flax, it can be synthetics, it can be acrylics, it can be rayons. So what we're gonna do is just kind of pull a piece off, and if you kind of fluff it a little bit, it makes it easier to come off. Now, what I want you to do next is to grab one end of it and grab another end of it and tug. What happens?
Very slow stretch.
Very slow. You might feel it sliding in your hands a little bit.
It's coming apart.
Move to the very tip of it. And now pull. That's important.
Take note. I'm like, okay.
Okay, so what we're looking at here, it's called staple length. So
Okay.
the wool, as it grows off of the animal,
Mm-hmm.
the length of it when it's sheared is called a staple. So if you pull it and pull it until you've got nothing but one stack of everything the same length,
Oh,
you
you're
can
finding out.
see.
Oh, cause see now I can feel that I'm pulling against myself instead of.
Bingo. And so if you are spinning, you want to, it's called attenuating. We say drafting because attenuating is
Sounds bougie.
too nerdy. But you want to kind of pull the fibers out so that they thin down, and then you're putting twist in it. So if you want thinner fibers, you're going to pull them out more, and if you want thicker, you're going to pull them apart less.
Okay.
Draft them out or attenuate them. Take this one staple, and you're going to go to the tip, and you're going to pull just a little bit, and you're going to just come back in and grab a little more, and you can do that all the way through until you've got basically the fiber is spread out to the same thickness all the way through.
Oh, okay.
So at its very foundation, this is the first step in spinning. It's the draft.
Okay.
Excellent.
The draft.
So this is like a proto yarn
Okay.
because it's not really yarn because it has no integrity.
Right.
So what do we have to do to give it integrity so it holds up?
The twist.
Add the twist. So you can finger twist and just kind of put a little twist in there. And then if you tug on it, it holds up.
Mine did not.
Then you need more.
I did not twist tight enough.
More twist. And this is probably the way people first started to figure this out. They probably experienced fibers in their natural environment, probably plants, and they probably figured out it was stronger if they put a little twist in it. And so they probably finger twisted. And this is kind of the essential component if you want to make twine.
Yeah.
If you keep twisting, you will be able to go further out than that staple length that you started with, and it's gonna hold together because it has twist. So we say twist is like glue.
I can tell you right now why somebody thought there's a better way to do this, and it's probably because they were getting arthritis.
Yes. So we need a tool.
It was like 5 seconds in and I'm like, oh God, my hands.
Right? And if you let it go, all the twist comes out
Yeah.
of it, and then you've just lost all your hard work.
Ah, no.
So, yes, we need a tool. And if there's one thing about humans, we're going to find a tool, right? We're not going to drop it first.
Okay.
We're just going to use this to add twist. So the disc part is called the whorl, W-H-O-R-L. Then you've got a hook.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is the shaft. Z is clockwise and S is counterclockwise. Typically people spin Z and ply S. Just stick the hook into the fibers. Just doesn't have to be perfect. You just want it to kind of catch on there. And then don't drop it yet. Okay. You're just gonna twist it like this.
This way.
See, and that's
Instantly came off.
you're getting pretty thin. I think if you kind of come up in here
Start
where it's a
more
little
in here.
thicker.
You're spinning towards yourself.
Yep. Just like that. And you want it to kind of flip off the hook.
I have immediately failed.
It's okay, you learned what not to do.
Why'd mine split?
Because you were wrapping around the hook, because you were going more like this.
Oh.
And it was coming around the hook, so you want
So
it
you have to make sure the hook is spinning the fiber, not collecting
it.
the fiber.
Exactly.
You're making a straight line, not a perpendicular
Yes.
fold.
And there's a reason that we'll talk about in a second.
Grasping the concept. Aha!
You got it.
Gotcha. So this is just way easier than holding on to it yourself, but you're essentially doing the exact same thing.
Yes. At some point, it's like too far to reach.
Yeah.
But what if you need more string or whatever? So that's when we're going to take it off the hook and we're going to wrap it around down here.
Okay.
So this is like our storage.
Gotcha.
And it's called the COP. C-O-P.
COP cop.
Yes. Look at that! You made yarn!
Woo!
Congratulations, you're a spinner. That's all it
How do
takes.
you keep it from doing that? You
Yeah,
don't?
so that's what we call energy, because
Uh-huh.
it's energized. And the twist doesn't want to stay put. It wants to go places.
Right.
So you're going to have to hang on to both sides of it. So I'm just going to help you out
Okay.
there.
It's pretty strong.
And then there's a little groove in the whorl.
Oh, cool.
And then you just bring it up under the hook.
Under the hook, and it's
Yep.
not actually going through it anymore.
Right. So now we need more fiber. Look
Yeah.
at that.
All right. Step 1. Simple enough.
Eventually, what we do is spin it and draft it kind of at the same time.
Right. Will the thickness that you draft it have anything to do with?
No! You dropped your draft spindle. Congratulations. That's like level up.
Classic. It
One of
wanted
us.
to go.
One of us.
One of us. What was I asking?
About drafting and thickness.
Oh yeah. So if you draft it a certain thickness, does that affect how thick it'll be, or is that
Yes.
not really?
Yes, it absolutely does. Like technically, if I take this and I go like this, it has twist and it's fiber, so technically this is yarn. This is just chunky.
Chunky boy.
Yeah, so the drafting, the more you pull out, the thinner your yarn is gonna be.
I just assumed that you then hold it with the and you keep going.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, if you put fluff on fluff and add some twist, it's gonna,
It'll
lock in there.
lock itself. Okay, cool. Well, that was simple enough. I thought adding more was going to be difficult, but
Sometimes you add more and it slides apart and you're like,
no.
what the heck?
And you do just have to stop and wind up more and then go back. Okay, I definitely had an idea in my head that this magically wound for you somehow while you were doing it, and I was like, how does that happen?
It does on there.
It doesn't. That's what makes the wheel better, is it's doing it all at once.
I wouldn't say better.
Okay.
I would say different.
That's
It is-
maybe why they wanted to invent the wheel, is to speed up.
It is
the
more
process.
complex. And for some people it's faster, but when I was in Peru, the Andean spinners, they don't use wheels because why would you use a wheel in a place that has mountains where you're walking around a lot and climbing up and down trails and stuff? You can take a spindle with you.
They can get more
And-
done on the go.
Exactly. And so they're incredibly fast just with a spindle.
Yeah.
And it was humbling. So are you
Okay.
ready to try the fully
I think so.
pendulous?
Yeah, I'm on my 3rd draft, so this
You're doing great.
this feels good.
You're doing great.
Thanks.
So I'm actually drafting and spinning at the same time, but if you have it pre-drafted, basically you just can't let the twist get ahead, because the twist, when it's under tension, it spreads out. And it will settle in the thinnest spot. So if you kind of draft it out like this and you give it some tension, you'll see it's moving.
And it'll just skip that.
It skips the thick part and it builds in the thin part. And so if your thick part is longer than your staple length, it's gonna go and fall apart.
And break.
Exactly.
And even if it's shorter, I think I had one of those sort of at the beginning, and it's like it never fully twisted. So then I had, you guys have a name for that, the little bloops?
Slub.
Slub. Which I find hilarious. Where does the word slub come from? It sounds like something a bully would call you.
Yeah, right?
You slub! In the 1950s.
Now, the thing you don't want to have happen is this. Where it gets into the yarn as it's dangling. So what I usually do is I keep it on the far side of my arm. And then hold out here. And that way it's less likely to get caught up.
Makes sense.
So you're just going to give it a twist and make sure you're going the correct clockwise direction, and then give it a twist, and now you're building up all that twist. And you can... I should do it.
Okay. You just...
There's a little trick to it. You'll catch on. So if you twist it further down, like down there, it's not gonna wobble as much.
Oh,
there.
Yep.
See, it's more stable. For some reason.
But how long should it twist? Because mine just wants to immediately go the other direction.
But see how mine is so much longer? It's got more space for that twist to build up. If you choke off the twist, it's gonna fill it up, and it's not gonna have the energy to put more in.
Okay.
So it's gonna start to unwrap, because that's energy in there that wants to go somewhere. And it's gonna go to the place of least resistance. And once
you have to be giving it more.
Exactly.
So that
it spreads out.
Going.
And the weight of the spindle is what gives you the tension for it to spread. So then you wrap it up and do it again.
Fascinating. When you're doing this and like consistently and you're really good at it, do you just have a very, very long, or you would be drafting as you go?
Just like this.
So do you just have like a big chunk, and then you could keep doing this for ages, and you're not having to like pick up a new piece?
Yeah, like how we were just kind of drafting it out like we were. That's exactly what I'm doing up here. And then I slide it, so then the twist comes into it. There is a bit of a feeling, you can kind of start to feel when you've got too much twist or not enough twist. You kind of get sort of just an innate...
Don't you find it fascinating that so many crafts that were traditionally women's have a lot to do with being able to feel very subtle things in your hands? Oh, I got real thin there, but it's...
You're gonna have to keep... There you go.
I was about to say, it's not breaking. Lies.
With a thick spot on either side of a thin spot like that, you're gonna have to add a lot more for it to go into those thicker spots on either side. Now, when you get the twist in there, the twist is glue. So you can't draft it once it's twisted.
Yeah, so like I just let the twist get all up in my...
Yep.
All up in my thingy.
Yep, you're gonna take it and just roll it with your fingers.
Yeah.
Until it comes
out
of there.
You can just kind of undo what you did, so that's nice at least.
Yes.
So are you holding it like this and feeding it in, like both hands up here?
Yes. Now, you've gotta keep in mind what your staple length was. If you're working within your staple length, you want to hold it from here very, very loosely and make sure it can slide out between your fingers.
Okay.
Because if you're clamped down on it, you're gonna be fighting yourself, and that's gonna make you. It's gonna make you tired. It's gonna make your hands get tired.
So this hand is loose.
What you're doing, where you put it between your knees to get things sorted out, is a technique called park and draft. Because you put your twist in there, you park it, and then you fix your draft.
And then you figure it out.
Yep.
Don't curl your fingers around it into a fist.
Yeah, right. If your knuckles are white, you're doing it wrong.
See, you know why it's peaceful for you is because you're good at it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just practice.
Yeah.
And you just have to be okay with the journey of it. Like, if you're so wrapped up in the end result being perfection, go buy a ball of yarn. Because we're not machines. Even with all the practice I've had, there's still inconsistencies in mine. There's still slubs in mine. Like, it's handmade. There's a character in it that got there from my hands being hands, you know? So, and I think that's part of the charm of it, too.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you get a long section,
Uh-huh.
you don't want to like, look at me reaching. That can be really annoying, especially if it's like windy outside and stuff. This is called the butterfly.
Ooh.
And you just kind of walk it up. And then you don't have to go reaching and chasing it around while it's swinging. And if you do it quick, it won't backspin. It's just doing itsy bitsy spider.
That makes sense. You're doing it all wrong.
Oh, I know. Sometimes I think they haunt me.
But nonfiction.
Cringe.
But I know that that's the same person who just wasn't doing the accent a second ago.
See, I'm not looking right now. I'm showing off. So like when you look at it and you see there's kind of like the little lines of variegation in it, well,
but
that's just cruel.
No, he's
C-R-U-E-L. The
Yeah.
Joanna Gaines of the 1700s. I'm like, those colonists were sassy.
Your breath stinks and I hate you. And I'm like, okay. No. See, I pull too hard and then I break. And then I'm like, don't pull too hard, and then it doesn't work because I didn't pull too hard.
It's a baby bird. Congratulations! It's another achievement unlocked.
There's so much fluff going everywhere, but I mean, look at that. I've made a chunk of yarn. We're getting places. It is like, you know, we just sit here chatting and I just keep doing it, and I'm like, oh, my little selection of yarn there is getting bigger, and I'm
over time
just continuing to do this. And it's all like,
I don't know, I feel like there's been academically a separation between like studying in the academic and then like the recreation of the crafts.
yeah.
And it's like, we need to talk to each other more. Little things like that you don't know until you try to open your shed when it's really dry and all of your warp goes ping, 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 ping. We were on the playground a lot.
We're people who like to make stuff with our hands, so I think we have trouble understanding people who don't want to make stuff with their hands. I'm like, what do you do with your life? I will just tie you down.
No. Communicate and pay attention.
Well, we could rant on this for hours.
Yeah.
At this point, we just are having a bunch of footage of us
chatting.
chatting.
But
So,
look, you made
yeah, I've made like a decent amount of yarn there. And it's all about the same size.
It's looking really good.
It's not too bad. I'm struggling with the whole active drafting. Is that what it's called? Doing it at the moment.
That describes it. That works.
Yeah. That's not really working for me, but I get the general concept of the twisting.
When you're finished and you ply it.
Yeah.
See? Because it's twisting back on itself, so the twist energy is holding itself against itself.
Like how people would do that with their hair sometimes. I was never good at doing it with my own because my hair is so slippery, but...
So that's what it would look like.
And then you get
if
a
it's
nice
plied.
little 2-ply yarn.
Yeah. It is beautiful.
It's such a good fiber.
When you've filled it up
Uh-huh.
and you have yarn, it's full of twist energy.
Right.
So there's two things you can do. One, you can leave it as a single and you can set it. So basically you would put it into like a big skein. You would get it wet and then you would block it. So you would hang a little weight on it to stretch it straight and let it dry. And that will kind of hide the twist energy. If it gets wet again, it's gonna curl up. Typically, we wanna ply it. So that just means that you're either gonna fold it in half so it's got 2 strands together, or you can do like 1, 2, 3 and make a 3-ply, etc., infinitely. Where's my other stick? I have a lot of sticks. Like, sticks are really good tools. Technically, this is a distaff, but here, you can use this one.
Okay.
Hold on to the bottom of it, right? And then you're gonna just wind it into a ball. So there's another way that you can take it off. It's called a Plying bracelet. And it goes around your hand, but it's a little more complicated. So I kind of just say like, do just make it into a ball.
Ball.
So you go around your finger,
and
then you come around and go around your finger. So you've basically created like where it's looped on itself, but it's not going fully around. And then it can go around your wrist like a bracelet, and it'll pull off from both ends.
Fancy.
It's very fancy, but that way works too.
I got my twins.
Yep. And then you're gonna slide it off of there. And it's gonna be a little messy, and that's okay. Just don't lose your two ends and keep pulling it out.
Kind of work it.
Yep.
Oh, very clumpy.
Just watch out for if it makes little pigtails.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, that's thin.
Just let it ply, and it'll be safe.
Yeah.
It won't come apart if it's in the ply.
Well, this part's easier.
Right? It's a little more like secure and
it's
stuff.
just like doing what it wants.
See, mine's a little thinner, so it needs more twist to...
And then you just start wrapping it again?
Mm-hmm.
When you've run out of arm space.
Now, some people like it to be perfectly balanced, so they just let it dangle until it doesn't want to go one way or the other. That's a perfect balance.
Oh.
For me, I like to have a little energy in my yarn because at the end, you're going to wash it, and that is always going to have some of that energy relax out.
Okay.
And I like to have my yarn just a little bit more lively.
I feel like this is like when wine experts are over there like, oh, the wine is exactly, it's so tanniny and just a little bit oaky and everything. It's like, you know, a yarn expert when they're like, I'd like my yarn to be a little bit lively, please.
Yes, you are not wrong.
And the rest of us are like, what does that mean?
There's different terms for it in different cultures, kind of. So one of the sort of OG spinning teachers, her name was Mabel Ross, and she was Scottish, and she never called it ply twist, she called it fold twist. And there you go.
So in like a commercial ball of yarn, is there the fold on one end?
No,
Can you find that?
because they spin it on different spindles, and then they take those two spindles and combine them.
So it's actually two fully different pieces.
Yes. If it's got that little fold over at the end, it's hand spun for sure.
Oh.
That's a tell.
So historians in 100 years will be able to...
Yeah, they'll be like...
We found the fold. That means that a indie crafter created this one.
They'll be like, it's weird that we're finding hand spun in 2025, but here it is.
Why were they still hand spinning? Is it because of the economic recession? And we're like, no, actually, it cost a lot of money to have these hobbies.
If you're in the UK, it's legal to walk around and take the little tufts
The
of
fluffs.
wool off of, like you can walk along the fence line.
Probably not as much luck in America. I passed sheep one time on my whole road trip here. Lots of cows. We have so many cows in America. Sometimes you see horses. But I passed one field of sheep, and I was like, what? It's just like you drive around the UK because I've road tripped there, and it's just like sheep everywhere. We don't have that here. Yours is beautiful. Let's do a close-up of hers, because mine's all like chunky and has character, and yours is like, hey, look, a professional did it. Yeah, look how thin it is.
That's my 2-ply.
That's plied? I thought you hadn't plied it yet.
No, it's plied. Congratulations, you're a spinner.
I know how to spin now. Definitely wouldn't say I'm good at it, but I could take this home and I know the basics and I could keep doing. And this is the fascinating thing, is it really, so many art and craft styles, you can learn how to do it in like an hour or less. And then it's just, do you actually want to get good at it? Take the next decade. But you can learn it really fast.
So true.
And so I think that's why like people want to try so many different things nowadays, and I'm like, do it, try things. It doesn't take that long to learn it. And this is why I say if you don't want to like buy supplies or something, go to a class. But if it's a low barrier of entry one, if it's a pretty cheap one to start, try it at home. Because you can learn it, you can figure out how to do it, take a class, follow a video, get a friend to teach you in like an hour or less. And that's enough time for me to find out if I'm interested in doing this again, which yes, I am. But not, I will say from that I'm not like, oh my god, I'm gonna like obsessively dive into this. Which is always fascinating to see.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
But sometimes you try one and you're like, I'm gonna obsessively dive into this. This is gonna be my thing. And sometimes you're like, I'm gonna try that again at some point. And sometimes you're like, I never wanna do that ever again in my life. And you can generally figure that out in like an hour or less. Grab a friend. Have them teach you something.
Find a friend who wants to learn.